And we are back. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to share my screen and we are going to go over the perfect onboarding process and client retention system for keeping clients longer and therefore building a bigger business. Guys, you don't want to have to go out and get clients all the time. We don't want to have to go out and get clients all the time. Like we want to be able to retain the clients we have, do really good for them, long term, keep serving them and helping them, and then through that build a huge business. Because the problem is if you're only bringing on 2 to 3 new people a month and you're losing 3 to 4 people a month, you only have a certain amount of months until you're out of business. So you have to always be then bringing on new clients in order to account for the churn, which if you could just get the churn rate down, which is the amount of people leaving, then you're going to be able to retain people a lot longer. And you pay all this money to acquire a customer through ads and through your time and the sales process. It's actually much, much cheaper to keep a client than it is to gain a client. So let's talk about onboarding process. Okay, so what do we use for client communication? These are the different tools that we're using for client communication. We're using Slack, Zoom, Loom, Shift Client Management Account. So that's through Go High Level. That's where we're doing calls and text to the client, so everything's recorded. Google Calendar, sending invites to them, and then a bit of email. Try to avoid the email, but sometimes emails just tried and true. Some things need to come through there. Some people need email credentials and different things. So we have to use email from time to time. Other apps we use for project management, we're using Trello. We have the Google Drive to both internally and externally. We have the clients in there. Go High Level, which is Shift CRM, Zapier to connect everything, and Leads Bridge to connect the things that Zapier doesn't connect, which happens to be most of what we need for automotive CRMs. So that's why we have Leads Bridge. Okay, so when a new client comes in, they're going to be closed, and the closer will fill out the POS form, onboard them, 20-minute form fill. In an ideal world, this won't always happen, but in an ideal world, the closer will sell. Well, let me make this how it actually needs to be. Sorry, guys. Closer will sell package, then onboard them. Well, I guess it doesn't matter the order that. Closer will sell the package, then fill out the POS form, onboard them with like basically, hey, 20-minute onboarding. Let's just call it. Yeah. Yeah. So the closers, and I'm just trying to think this through, guys, because we're building this out as we speak. So the closer is going to sell the package, and then we're going to fill out the point of sale form that's going to indicate that we got a new client and how much they paid and kind of some back end notes. And then we're going to have the client, we're going to walk them through in an ideal situation, 20-minute onboarding and walk them through the actual onboarding form, which I think you guys know. We have a whole different sheet on onboarding that shows our process and all the steps. But in this more, it's going to be about the client experience. So if we can onboard them right at the point of sale, that's perfect. And then by filling out this form, that starts to set the process in place. And then if we can, we onboard them. And if I can, I'll even try to get the access when I'm right there and right then. So there's that sets the process out. When somebody sends in the onboarding form, that's what's going to set all the zaps and zooms and or all the zaps and triggers and everything in place. That's going to start sending out the shit. I need to come back to this. I need some. I'm gonna get hydrated. I'm gonna get hydrated, and have a little snack, and then I'm gonna get back to this. It's been a long day, and I feel like I'm losing steam. I want to keep this super good. 1 second. All right, guys. So let's keep going on this. So in an ideal world, the closer will sell the package, and then on the same call, they will fill out the point of sale form that essentially just notifies the account manager and the rest of the team that, hey, we have a new client. This is the package that they signed up for. This is their budget. Anything that we need to know on the back end, we will fill out notes, different things like that. And then will, in an ideal situation, also onboard the client with the client-facing onboarding form that has, like a lot more questions, but we'll just walk them through it, filling it out step by step, asking them about the campaign info, making sure that we get the good relevant information for that. So in an ideal world, the closer will fill out the point of sale form, which we'll do every single time. And then onboard the client right there, so there's no delay in getting the onboarding form filled out. And then also in a really perfect world, gets meta access right there. If every time we had time and access points that we needed to be able to walk the client through and get the access level we needed right after the sales call, that would be really, really, really sick, because then we can just go right to work on the campaigns. We have nothing to wait for. We make the graphics, we make the copy, run the campaigns, set the ad account up if we need to, and we're pretty much ready to rock. So that's that. So, but that doesn't always happen that way. So there is automations and everything that go out where the automations will go out essentially sending them the email with the onboarding form and stuff like that. But then again, clients tend to forget things. So you want to be able to just be aware when they're not filling things out and just make sure they have it, communicate with them right when they come in. And that's why we fill out the point of sale form. So now we know that, oh, this is a new client, because in the past we were having them pay us, and then we're having them fill out the onboarding form, and there was no point of sale form. So the account manager wasn't knowing that a new client was in there until they filled out the onboarding form. So there could be like 5 days in between the time, and we were losing a lot of time there. So that's a super good way that we can shorten that onboarding cycle down and give them super smooth. Plus they feel like, damn, I signed up for this thing, they got access, they're ready to rock, So I love that. Also after that, okay, so after that happens, closer sells the package and everything like that, onboards them, or we get them to fill out the onboarding form. That's the first step in the process. Then we do the 5-minute welcome call. That's going to be done by a client success manager or account manager. In most cases, within 24 hours, team touches base on rough strategy, overview, and offer. So let me just pull up our Trello account over here to the other tab, and I'm going to pull up the client onboarding flow. Okay, so we have in this a more detailed, list that shows all of our different step-by-steps that go down for every client and what we got to do there. And we also have an SOP that's got the process even more dialed in. I'll have to upgrade my storage here. But yeah, so this shows everything about the process. So just making sure you go through this and understand. They fill out the onboarding form that shows the zaps and things in the back end. So what happens, they get zapped to the master client list. Green means they're fully onboarded. Yellow means green means fully automated live client. Yellow is something pending, something like that. And red is not live, something like that. So I got to update a couple of these, and then we're not really doing orange either. So let me update this at a different time, but this is like an older SOP, kind of the OG one, and it shows a lot of the basic, steps that we take. New clients get added to the welcome text campaign through the shifts, social client management sub account and go high level. We get access to the Facebook asset. We use this tool, but it doesn't always work. So there's another way here, and We'll talk about Facebook access at another time. Kickoff call, Slack channel. So this kind of goes in depth and also shows, like after the fact. So, make sure to check this out, check these links out, understand the process there. That's what the client goes through. And even feel free to go through the process. Just fill out the onboarding form as shift test and yourself and just, check it out. See what happens. Okay, so we can get a feel for the experience that our clients go through. So that's that with the onboarding. Our Trello board has the individual steps. So when a new client comes in, they're going to be put into the onboarding form submitted after they fill out the onboarding form. When we fill out the point of sale form, that's going to put them into the new client stage, and then we'll move them throughout the process. Onboarding form submitted. So I'm going to take out the give welcome call. That doesn't make sense in this case because it's really just going to be they fill out the onboarding form. We're going to give them a welcome call, which is going to be right after they fill out the onboarding form. So I think I have that. Let's see. Okay, so the template. One sec. Okay, cool. So I added that here. So the welcome call is in the it's in the onboarding launch list here, which has everything that we need to launch a client, all the high level steps, and the account manager gives a brief 5 to 10 minute welcome call. And we've got the framework right here. Okay, guys. So before I go into the framework, let me and this is something that you guys can read through. Just to kind of get an idea, but it should never be scripted. It's always kind of a framework and it'll come out different every time. So really with the welcome call, it should be like just rapport building and connection and just really friendly. So just supporting them, like the sole purpose is just to support them and make them feel understood. So what I mean by that is like it's easy to tend to want to call someone and say like, hey, so here's an example of what you don't want to do. Ring, ring. Hello. Hello, Mr. Client. This is Nate with the Shift Social. I'm just calling because I need you to get into the Slack channel and I want to onboard you and get your ads running right away. So, sir, can you just stop what you're doing and let's totally unscripted or totally no framework, random. And so you don't want to do that. You don't want to call and just be, all professional, all business, all me. That's not the way you want to run this call. The way you run this call is real smooth like this. You're going to call them and you're going to be like, hey, what's up, Mr. Client? This is Nate at the Shift Social. How you doing today? Am I catching you at a good time? Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. And guys, always ask if you're catching them at a good time because when you call people at random times, especially business owners, if you catch them at the wrong time and you talk their head off, they'll never answer again when you catch them at the wrong time. But if you respect their time, they'll really appreciate that. So if they say, yeah, you caught me at kind of a bad time, just say, oh, is it okay if I call you back in 20 minutes? Yep, sounds good. Okay, sounds good. Boom, click. Call them back then. But when they say, yeah, call me at a good time, you're like, awesome. So I just wanted to make an intro, let you know a little bit about who I am over here at the Shift. And I'll be one of your main points of contact and helping you out with this whole process and getting you going. Super excited you made your commitment and joined the program today. How you feeling? Oh, good. Blah, 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 blah. Awesome. And then you can go into this framework here. Okay. So, hey, we can't wait to help you grow your dealership and work with your team. You want to make sure that they're in the Slack channel. So a lot of times when a client gets onboarded, the Slack invite doesn't always come through right with their email, it seems like. So sometimes you'll have to manually add somebody through Slack. And so to do that, you would just go in every time an onboarding form is submitted, that makes a new Slack channel. So you would just have to come in here, click the members, go to members, add people, and then you can just add in through their email. You just type in their email here and it's going to add them. And if they're already like a member of if they're already in the Slack channel, then it's going to just let you know that here. And then you're going to know, oh yeah, I see you in the Slack. So when you talk to the clients, like, you do a little bit of small talk, not too professional. If they got extra time and they're digging in, let's just get some action rolling. So like, hey, okay, couple things real quick. Let's make sure you're in the Slack channel. That's our main point of contact. It's a simple app you download on your phone. If you can use social media, you can use this. Some people don't like to use Slack. They're going to use Slack. So we want to encourage them to use it, make sure they have it. And then once we know they have it, have them send you a message while you're on the call with them so that you know that they actually are in there and they see what you see. Okay, so I just say, awesome. So sent you the Slack email, join up in there. Yeah, just go through the process. Perfect. Okay, let me know when you see this. Perfect. Now just shoot me a message in there so I can make sure. Yep, you'll see the channels. Okay, perfect. Nice. Yeah, I see your message came through. Awesome. If you scroll up, you'll see our welcome message that we sent to you. You tell the client, hey, if you scroll up, you'll see the welcome message we sent to you, and you'll also be able to see some questions we had and some follow-ups. So we'll continue to do the work inside of here in the Slack channel. This is our main point of communication, and we're excited to continue on that with you. So this is the welcome message that gets sent. It kind of introduces everybody and stuff like that. So then the client will get to see that. I'm also sending a personalized message, basically welcoming them and just asking them to lay down their expectations and such so that we can all be clear from the get-go. And of course, we can understand their North Star goal. So that's that, guys. There's a couple more things in here. You want to build rapport on these calls. The intent is to make them like 5 minutes. Hey, make sure you're in the Slack. I'm the mom of the group, or like, yeah, I just, I'll make sure that you're taken care of around here. You just let me know if you need anything. Like, it's really just being an ally for them and just showing them, hey, I'm here to help you. And if they have questions that are above your head, it's just, hey, we'll get with the team with that, and we'll make sure that we address that in our strategy. Or yeah, I'll make sure that Nate and the team, like, you know, basically just tell them that we'll take care of them. And if you don't know, just tell them you'll ask, right? As far as getting the access and stuff like that, that's going to be on the actual onboarding call. But this talks a little bit more about the Slack channel. So you're going to make sure that they're in the Slack first and foremost. Let's see. So, boom. Make sure they are in Slack. Okay. And then after that, you're going to want to book the kickoff call or onboarding call, which will be about an hour long. Okay, so you want to make sure that we have that in there. Strategy. Onboarding call. That's pretty much it. You're just going to build rapport, introduce self, make sure they're in Slack, have them send you a message. Book onboarding call. And guys, when they want to book the onboarding call, there's 2 ways you can do that. So let me just get in the CRM here. So we have the calendar set up through here. Shoot, I just realized our calendar is actually set up somewhere else. So we're going to get it. I'm going to get this fixed so that we have the right calendar in here. So onboarding calendar. So I'm going to put the onboarding calendar into this account because right now it's in a different account. So going to switch the process up a little bit, but the way you're going to book the appointment, actually, shoot, let me go back. Let me just 1 sec. Okay, guys, so we might change the way that we book the calls in the future, but for right now, you're just going to go to this book call in the welcome call framework, and I'll also list it here, and it will be in the Trello board. Boom. You can book that in for them. So you can just say, okay, well, it's got no slots available any month. Okay, guys, so I gotta fix some things here because this is clearly jacked up. So 1 second. All right, guys. Sorry, just had to update a setting. So, okay, now when we go to the calendar, they are going to be able to choose a time, and then it will be booked with, and it'll send appointment notifications to the rest of the team members. And then after that, it's going to send them to the next step. This is a page we have to help them join the Slack channel. It's just right here, Slack channel. It just gives a brief overview of Slack, has the Apple and Android app download, and then also has the mobile to join right here too. So this just opens up, or the desktop rather, excuse me. This just opens up into the browser or into the app if they have it downloaded on their desktop. So that's that. Next step in process, they're going to go here to log into the lead management portal. So this is same thing as the Slack. We have the Apple, the Android download, and then logging in on desktop. So yep, it has their email, it's got their password, and they can literally go in, click here. It's going to open up the login portal, and then they're going to be able to sign in right there. So you can send them there so that they can log in from there. They can have all the links and everything to the CRM. After that, we've got a little onboarding process overview of me showing them how to use the CRM. It's got access to our Facebook group, and it's got some FAQs. This we're going to likely reconstruct entirely and kind of give them like a course or a program where we can have different topics and different things in there. But for right now, this is what we got for a CRM video. And I know it's going through the process and everything like that, so it works. But in the future, I intend to improve upon that. So this is it right now. Of course, all this is living, breathing, changing constantly. But for right now, this is how onboarding is set up. So once we get the onboarding call scheduled, how to perform a successful onboarding call. A proper handoff. This is going to be me on the call, just basically saying, hey, what's up, client? This is my team. Team, this is client. I'm excited for the team, or I'm excited for this client because XYZ, I think they're going to be really good with our process. And this is the strategy that we've came up with so far. Client, you're going to love my team. Working with them is going to be excellent. We're going to have everything built out for you, and we're going to get you set up, and they're going to take care of you. So if you guys need anything from me, I'll be watching with the bird's eye view, but I'll let you guys get started. My team's going to help you get the access and everything like that. Boom. I bounce off, and then you guys go. And so then it's going to be set the frame. Hey, this call is going to be about an hour. Good with you? Yep. Awesome. Cool. We're just going to do a couple things on the screen share, get the access we need, and then we're going to go from there. And the call sometimes it'll be 45 minutes, or we might get it down a little bit too. So initially set the frame. We're just going to get the access we need, go over a couple things with you, touch base on strategy, and go from there. So ask questions, listen, and take notes in Slack. And some good questions to ask are on the welcome call framework. So I'll link those here as well too. Some good questions to ask to build rapport. This can be in the welcome call, or it can be on the onboarding call as well, just depending on timelines, when they're most available and things like that. But yeah, so these are some good onboarding questions as well. How many years have you been in business? What is the most ideal client for your business? What specific offers? And I'll have told you some of this stuff. We should have touched base on strategy beforehand, so you'll kind of have an idea of what offer we're going to be running. But yeah, essentially that's what we want to be doing on the onboarding call is, getting some more information. So let me link this right here. Oops. What was that? Let me see. Tab to replace. Ooh, cool. Where tab? Oh, there it is. Boom. Nice. That looks beautiful. Okay, cool. So we got that document in there. That's got some onboarding call questions. So probably add some onboarding questions here instead and change that up a little bit. But you guys get the point. Like you're the information, you're gonna be getting it in spurts and spats, and it's gonna be a little bit different for each client depending on how they are, their personality types and things like that. So you just gotta be prepared to either having a conversation with them and taking the notes down and receiving the information on the intro call. Sometimes that'll happen where you guys will just get in deep there and you'll still do an onboarding call, but it'll probably be a lot shorter in that case. Or sometimes it's going to be in the onboarding call where you're just getting the base information. So if you got to start from scratch with somebody and just ask them and get some information on how they work and gather some data points, that's totally fine. Okay, I don't mind that at all. And take notes in the Slack, note things down, and then we'll touch base on strategy afterwards if we need to. If you guys need any clarity and stuff like that. So go over the offer that we have proposed for them, some offers we've ran in the past that we've gotten some good results with, basically proven offers and structures, give them an idea of the deliverables we're going to do, base plan, get them to understand it, make sure that they have all the access of what they need. We went through the different onboarding processes as far as the Slack, getting them to log into the CRM, getting access to their Meta, their Facebook ad account and business manager. And I think that's all the access they need initially. So making sure they have all that stuff in the checklist. And then after the call, next steps, leading the way in the chat. So not letting the chat go static after the onboarding call, like telling them, hey, this is the next step. This is what we need to do next, stuff like that. Let me see in my Slack channel if okay, yeah. So check this out, guys. This is an example of what I'm talking about that I liked. So this is how they do it in the Slack, this team that I hired. So they wrote in here, they wrote, thanks for joining today. This is after the onboarding call. Pending items before we go live, we will send updates so you're aware of the process status. This girl is going to be doing scripts, project SOPs, and adding to scheduling. This one is going to be doing tech onboarding call, webhooks for new project, and automations for the team. I am going to be going to the onboarding call, creating a Go high level user, whatever. So it's really clear who's doing what. And then they said, this is what they received on the call, appointment setting script, questions, like just main information they've confirmed. And then whenever they started to finish things off, they posted it, hey, we did the onboarding call, scratched it off, and they reposted that. So I just kind of like that framework. And then it looks like they even posted it again when everything was ready to go almost. And then, hey, we're about to go live. Our 24/7 team will call, they made it really clear what the process is. Boom, I said, let's launch. Then the bot said, hey, it's launched already. And then from there, we started, working on the account. So it was all streamlined, though. I knew the process the whole way. And that's what I want to be, doing for our clients and replicating that as well, too. So at first, we're just going to be doing that manually as much as possible. And then we're going to be learning how to automate it from there, where we can have more of like, we'll fill out a launch form, once the campaign launches, and that will automatically send the Slack message and things like that, and for tracking and stuff. So we have ways that we're going to start automating these things. But right now, as we're getting started, manual is the way to go in just this specific case as we learn. And then a lot of this stuff is going to be automated as we go. But the manual process is where we're going to be able to make the automation work when we really understand how to manually do it ourselves. We feel it, we understand the process. Okay, so after the call, next steps, leading the way, Slack message recap. Then we're going to, doesn't need to be here exactly, but so after the call, we're going to start making sure we set everything up as far as the campaigns and everything like that. So let me move this. Sometimes we'll have to troubleshoot Facebook access. I'll get some resources on that and add that here. That's its own topic. And I know, our team has had a lot of experience with navigating that in different ways. So things happen like clients don't have access or their page got blocked and things like that. So those are things that we'll just have to account for and work around. And we have different strategies to work around. So I'll add that in here. But in most cases, it's pretty simple if you just follow the framework and basically follow the process. Leadsy gives us most of it, but it's not perfect. So a lot of times we still have to end up going into their business manager. So the most ideal way is to add us as a user inside their business manager. So if you can, getting them to just share their screen and then taking remote access of their screen is going to be optimal. But some people aren't even savvy enough to get to that setup on their Zoom. So it just depends on the client. But most of them are. I mean, these are professional people. Like they should be able to figure that out. Okay, so set up in 7 days. Once we have access, should be 7 days or less. We're ready to launch. And ideally, I would like 7 days from point of sale to the time we launch ads. That's going to help us a lot. Over communicate the process and handhold as needed. We talked about that in kind of the Slack example. Remember the Domino's food tracker here. Okay. The status bar, every status, who's doing what, when, how. People love that. It's a little dopamine rush, I think. Okay, so proper campaign installation. Guys, I'm not going to go into fulfillment on this call. I'm going to have a whole nother section for fulfillment and fulfillment, processes that we have to get our clients results and proven campaigns and stuff like that. But what this is going to be right here is this is going to be just an overview. So these are the things that we need to make sure that we deliver to the client. Campaign strategy. We have to touch base as a team, or we have to make sure that we're crystal clear on the offer and the flow of the leads. So there's a lot of different ways that leads can flow, especially in the automotive industry, where leads are going to be going to our CRM and their CRM. It's going to be like making sure that we're sending the leads and the customer experience to the right side of things. So making sure that we're sending people to, if they need to fill out a credit application, making sure we're sending them to our own credit application and not the one on the client's website, unless we know we can send it there. So just using our discretion, because it's going to be a different flow every time, and we're going to talk about that in the fulfillment section of this. So but essentially, yeah, just making sure from the get-go we're like, hey, this is what we're going to do. It's going to be lead forms to a calendar. It's going to be lead forms to an inventory, or let's do a landing page right off the bat. Like, we're going to have to touch base with that on a lot of accounts. As we streamline and productize, that may change just to make things more templated. But as of right now, it's custom. So we got to make sure we're customizing the strategy and the flow to the different dealership and their needs, and using our discretion, our expertise, and knowing how to handle the situation, what's going to get them the best results, what's going to be the best driver for them. We're going to produce ad copy. I've got a whole ad copy library. So most of this stuff is templated, guys. Pretty simple stuff. Like, really, with copy, there's a lot to it. But the only thing with copy, we got to make sure that we're always, updating things, and then just staying relevant, making sure things make sense, making sure we're putting the pain points in there and following the proven structures. So we'll go over that as well in the fulfillment section. Ad creative, we do images, we do videos, we do things that they've ran in the past, sourcing it. We make our own graphics. We'll test different types of graphics like text-based, image-based, inventory, videos. Really, we're trying to run a wide variety of creatives to test and give them a blast and to give them a lot of different creatives out in their market so that they can show up and appear differently. And so proven creatives and graphics we'll go over those as well in the fulfillment, but we just got to make sure that we are getting all these things for the clients and that we're listing them down in the client's Trello card. So like all the onboarding steps are here, onboarding call scheduled. We did the onboarding call with Jay today. So now we're building his creative, and Geraldine is working on that. Our graphic designer is working on that. So she's building that out. We need to build out the campaigns and the other things too. So, this would be where now we have this in here. And they've changed up how they're doing things. So for something like this, in this particular case for this client, we would have a little strategy meeting and make sure that we're clear on the offer and the flow. Okay, so as far as that goes, proven lead forms are super important, the way we set it up, lead sync to their CRM, Shift CRM. I'll go over all this stuff in the fulfillment program. Welcome and drip campaigns. We need to make sure every client has welcome campaigns attached to their ads. When somebody clicks their ads, fills out a lead, we need to make sure that they're filling out a campaign, or they're getting into a campaign that's going to be sending them automated texts and emails and reminder automations. So calendar invites and things like that, making sure that they're going to show up, sending them, we'll set up the online calendar, and then we'll integrate the calendar link into the drip campaigns so that we're booking more appointments, making sure that everything's tagged, everything's going into their pipeline, everything's functional in their CRM system so that it can be a good ecosystem for working leads, setting up the text, emails, the internal notifications. Notifications are super important. The way we do them is incredibly important. So, yeah, we'll go over that as well in the fulfillment section. But yeah, we need to just always make sure that we are testing the notification that's going to the client and confirming that they're getting the notifications. Campaign review, this needs to be done by client success manager, and I always like to have eyes on a campaign or up to another manager too. Just a little bit of collaboration at the end, just sending. So it's like, hey, maybe we should call out the audience different, or let's test this hook. Sometimes there's just something that comes out of that, or just looking at it, having a different set of eyes on it just brings a freshness to it. But usually it's going to be good. Campaign review. Then we're going to send an ad draft. So once we have all these things built out, we're going to send ad drafts over to our clients, and we're only trying to do one round of revisions. So if they come in and they need a bunch of things, especially with creative, they want to change things up, our goal is to keep it at one round of revisions, and we're going to set that expectation to our clients. Once everything's set up, we're going to send a Loom overview of the process flow, going over everything so our clients can see from the start when somebody sees their ad to submitting the ad to filling out the application, scheduling an appointment, the text, the emails, everything. We're going to send them a Loom just going through that whole process from start to finish and making sure that they understand how that flows, what we're doing for them, and then what's going to be their operational flow, like making sure they know, hey, you're going to go to conversations. When a lead responds, the opportunities tab, you're going to see all the leads, those kind of things. So we just send a quick Loom going over all that stuff. And, they've already been on the onboarding call. They've already seen the graphics and things like that, because we send the graphics for approval right when we make them. So at this point, everything's synced up. They look it over, in depth, and then we do the one round of revisions if we need to change anything on the text, emails, anything like that. Then we launch campaign and we notify the client. So when we launch, it's super important. Hey, your campaign is launched. Let's scale to the moon. Super excited. Setting the expectations. And we might do this earlier too, but making sure they know, hey, campaigns are live. This is great. We're excited. Now the work has only begun. Month one, things can be a little crazy. We're building a new channel of revenue into your business. So you're going to have to make sure that you're ready for that. And, month one, it can be a little crazy, but month two and month three, we're going to clean everything up so that you can have a better month one or better month two than you had in month one and a better month three than you had in month two, and continuing to improve and optimize on the process. The garden analogy is there, and then also Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So you could say that. We're live. Let's scale to the moon. I talked about that. First contact. So right when they get their first lead, their first appointment, their first response, let's make sure to celebrate that. Hey, just got a lead in. Linda, she's works at Best Buy. She makes $7,800 a month. She's making bank at Best Buy. She's got 2,500 down. She says she's got a 580 credit. Like she booked an appointment. That's what's up. It only cost $5. $5 lead disqualified. This campaign's starting off good. Make sure you follow up with every lead. Make sure that you're in the process. Make sure you're getting after Linda, and teaching our clients to have a savage mindset with leads. Every lead matters. So we're going to value their leads. We're going to show them how much we care about their leads, so that they're able to show us how much. I don't know. They're going to care when we care. Hopefully, that's the intent. And I'll show you guys how we do that in the retention system. But 3 days in, after a couple days, quick report and gas up the wins. Hey, we're seeing a lot of leads come in now, or hey, we're seeing a low lead flow if things aren't going right. Just being transparent. Hey, we're working on this. We're watching this close. Just making sure they know that we're on top of it. If we just launch and then things go kind of dark, it's like, hey, we kind of left them MIA. So we want to make sure that we're checking back in, seeing how things are going, because if things aren't quite what they expect or whatever, we want to catch that. And then 1 week in, a TLC check-in call from me or a client success manager or even an account manager in some cases, just to see, hey, how are things going? How are you? And things of that nature. Okay. We went over the Trello management flow and system in a different video, but yeah. So that's everything as far as once we launch, and then we go into the retention system, which I will go over in the next video, guys. Let's go.